Independent views, a content clarification disclaimer, a legal disclaimer from the creator. Viewer discretion is advised, an advance notice, a trigger warning from the creator.
Introduction. Welcome to a profound exploration of existence, consciousness, and the enigmatic nature of knowledge in our modern era. In this video, we will journey through 4 enlightening chapters. We'll begin with an introspective dive into the essence of life and our relationship with the unknown. Then, we'll transition into the digital age, examining how knowledge is commodified and how spiritual narratives have evolved. As we move forward, we'll question the authenticity of so-called disclosures and the fine line between personal beliefs and universal truths. Finally, we'll conclude with an in-depth look at the guardians of knowledge and the dual nature of faith in our lives. Join us on this introspective voyage as we seek to understand the intricate tapestry of life, belief, and the pursuit of truth.
Chapter 1. The Essence of Life. A Journey of Consciousness. In the grand tapestry of existence, humans have long grappled with profound questions that touch the very core of our being. What is the purpose of life? Why do we exist? And what lies beyond our mortal coil? This chapter delves deep into these existential quandaries, exploring the interplay of life, death, consciousness, and the mysteries that remain unsolved. While we may not have definitive answers, we embark on a philosophical journey, examining our relationship with the known and the unknown, the tangible and the ethereal. So, what truly is the essence of life? What is its genuine meaning and purpose? A disclaimer is in order. This video will not provide answers to these profound questions. I do not profess to have them, and I question if anyone genuinely does. Admittedly, this could be my own projection. I've reached a stage of acceptance with uncertainty. The age-old questions about life, our existence, our creation, and even the creator of our creator and beyond no longer plague me incessantly. Likewise, the enigma of what transpires post-mortem. I've transitioned from a desperate need for answers to a peaceful acceptance that they might remain elusive, possibly only revealed at life's end. Such answers, then, would truly be to die for. Even then, they might remain unrevealed, as death could signify the cessation of consciousness. Yet, in my living moments, I find solace in uncertainty, growing comfortable with the prospect of non-existence post-death, returning to the very darkness from which we emerged, the protective dark womb of our mothers, where we were shielded from external elements. Our mother's haven, before we emerged from the profound darkness, shielded within our mother's sanctuary, protected from the elements that now surround us. Recall our first emergence into light, transitioning from the protective darkness. As we embraced the light at birth, death might see us returning to darkness. I speculate that we dreamt within the womb, a prelude to life, just as our current dreams might be premonitions of what lies beyond. Such thoughts are chilling indeed, evoking deep reflection. This dream state might be our guide both pre- and post-life. But does this hint at our existence being divine? Did our essence exist prior to our physical inception within our mothers? And can life transcend this physical form, as many doctrines suggest? These aren't affirmations of the divine, but mere observations of life's intricacies. In our tangible world, we operate within our physical bodies. Yet, religious and spiritual systems offer assurances of a realm beyond this, especially since the notion of non-existence post this life is challenging to embrace. The enigma of death is life's greatest adversary, a paramount concern, a universal fear, and the ultimate question. Reflect upon it. If one mystery could be unraveled, what would you wish to know? The reason for our existence, our creator, or the aftermath of death? This might be a projection of my own biases, but I'd wager that many would lean towards understanding the post-mortem journey. While the allure of such knowledge is tempting, its weight might be overwhelming, a potentially harrowing truth. The existential dread of potential non-existence post-death is a universal fear, even for the devoutly religious. As mortality approaches, many gravitate towards faith systems promising an afterlife, often with prerequisites in the form of tributes, sacrifices, or deeds to ensure entry. In a world dominated by capitalism, such a dynamic is unsurprising. The affluent capitalize on the vulnerabilities of the less fortunate. The fear of death has evolved into a lucrative industry, with promises of an afterlife generating astronomical profits. For many, this assurance comes at a high price, a lifetime of dedication and sacrifice. It's astounding that the promise of an afterlife often demands one's entire life, leading many to grapple with their faith and adhere to doctrines promising existence beyond death, regardless of its nature. Many would prefer an eternity in damnation over absolute non-existence. This leads me to ponder, must there be a divine rationale for our existence? Why the insistence on an afterlife? Why the compulsion to understand? I've come to believe that perhaps it's best left unknown. Maybe our experiences are designed to be enshrouded in mystery, to fully immerse in life's journey without definitive answers. If life is about experiences, then its true essence remains an enigma. Currently, I lean towards the perspective that life is fundamentally about experience. That's the purpose I choose to assign, even while acknowledging that its true nature might forever remain an enigma. To undergo the journey of birth, to embrace the myriad facets of life, and then to face the inevitability of death. To transition from the vibrancy of youth to the wisdom of old age. From our earliest moments of crawling on all fours to the days of running on two legs, and eventually relying on a third for support. To be born, to live, and then to pass away. To fully engage with life's spectrum, from its joys to its sorrows, and to contemplate upon one's journey until the final departure. And many of us fear that act of departing, the transition between lives, or the potential shift into non-existence. The very idea of ceasing to exist, the cessation of consciousness, is daunting. We move from light to darkness. While some assert that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but merely transformed, this does not necessarily imply that our life energy will transition into another realm or existence. It simply means the energy that animates us and gives us consciousness will metamorphose into a different form of energy. This transformation doesn't guarantee the continuation of our consciousness. For example, our cells have energy that will change when the cells get old. The energy that kept our molecules together will be let go when our atoms get weak. This happens when our molecules come apart and our bodies break down. Our bodies have everything they need to break down. This means our bodies are meant to die. But do our minds keep living after our bodies die? I see life and death differently than many people. I think of life as being aware of the world we can touch and see. I think of death as the end of that awareness in this world. I think maybe there's another kind of life after death, but it's different. Maybe it's like energy. So, I think of life as being aware, and this life as an experience of that awareness. Maybe when we die, we join a bigger kind of awareness, or maybe not. I'm okay with not knowing. Some people find that hard, but I'm open-minded. I'm not an atheist. I believe there's something or someone bigger than us. I think that something or someone is more aware and knows more than us. If that's true, maybe we can become like them. But that's only if they're real, and we can be like them. I think our world and our bodies are too complicated to just happen by accident. But just because I think that doesn't mean there's life after death, or that we have a special reason for being here. Think about machines and AI. They exist to help people. Some people might think that's a special reason. Some people might think humans are like gods to AI. But we aren't special. We didn't make ourselves or the world. So maybe whoever or whatever made us didn't make themselves. I don't believe in aliens from the past or certain old stories. I think those ideas are like religions because they say things they can't prove. When you believe in something that can't be proven, it's like having faith. Whether it's a religion, a spiritual idea, or an old story about gods, I think they're all types of religions. They're ways to make money by selling ideas and dreams. They're the newest kind of religions. But I don't follow any of them. I'm okay with not knowing everything. I think about what might happen when I die, and I'm okay with it. I know I'll meet death someday. It will be a big moment. Here are some fun ways to think about meeting death.
1. Death? I've had it on my calendar for ages. 2. I told Death to chill. I'm not ready for our hangout yet. 3. When death knocks, I'll answer with, "Did you bring snacks?" 4. I've heard the afterlife has great Wi-Fi. 5. I told death we need to reschedule. I'm too busy living right now. 6. Death's just the universe's way of saying game over, play again. 7. If death is the end of the story, I hope it's a plot twist. 8. Death and I, we've got a standing appointment, but I keep hitting snooze. 9. When I meet death, I hope he's up for a good laugh about my life's bloopers. 10. I bet death's just a doorman to the next big adventure. 11. Death and I have a date and I won't be late. 12. Death is a meeting I won't skip. 13. I'll greet death like an old friend.
Here are some funny jokes about death.
1. Why did Death get promoted? He was killer at his job. 2. What did one grave say to another? Looks like people are dying to be with us. 3. Why did the skeleton go to the party alone? He had no body to go with him. 4. Why did Death bring a shovel to the party? To dig the grave vibes. 5. Why was the ghost always calm in stressful situations? He couldn't lose his pulse.
Death is something we all go through. It might be the last thing I feel. It might be the end of my journey. It's like going into the dark. I was born from darkness into light, and I'll go from light back to darkness when I die. The light started in the darkness and will go back to it. So, I'll go back to the darkness I came from. Maybe I'll stay there forever. That might sound scary. What do you think? Some people might find it scary, but others might find it peaceful. It's like when you go to sleep. You close your eyes, and everything is dark until you start dreaming and awakening in light, in the astral reality. Life, with its myriad experiences, complexities, and uncertainties, remains one of the universe's greatest enigmas. While we navigate the realms of consciousness, existence, and potential non-existence, we must find solace in the journey itself. Embracing the unknown, questioning our place in the grand scheme, and seeking understanding are intrinsic to human experience. As we ponder the transition from light to darkness and the cyclical nature of existence, it becomes evident that our perspectives shape our realities. Whether we view life as a fleeting moment or a step towards a greater journey, the essence remains. Life is a profound experience, and how we choose to interpret it defines our individual journeys.
Chapter 2. Digital Profits and the Capitalization of Knowledge. In an age where information is the new currency, the quest for deeper understanding and spiritual enlightenment has become a marketplace teeming with sellers and seekers. As we transition into the digital era, the platforms for disseminating knowledge and spiritual teachings have evolved, but the age-old questions remain unchanged. Is there a divine purpose? What is the meaning of life? This chapter delves into the digital age's spiritual landscape, examining how ancient beliefs have been repackaged and sold in our capitalist society, and questioning the intentions behind modern-day spiritual leaders. So, is there a divine purpose? Do our lives hold meaning? Must our purpose necessarily be divine? Assuming a divine purpose suggests we are destined for divinity. Believing in a divine creator implies that our creator is divine. These are all assumptions, grounded in faith. Many humans genuinely perceive themselves as the focal point of the universe, as if they are the pinnacle of God's creation, the most cherished of all. They often express feelings of being blessed and highly favored, which presupposes that they are indeed blessed. However, what if this life is actually more of a curse than a blessing? While some believe we are endowed with life and consciousness as blessings, it's worth considering the opposite. Perhaps we are cursed with consciousness and free will. This perspective might even suggest our awareness is inherently malevolent. It's a startling thought. And no, I'm not advocating Satanism. I don't subscribe to the beliefs in the biblical God or Satan. After all, believing in God inherently means acknowledging Satan, at least according to Christian doctrine. It's a fascinating conundrum to ponder. The crux of the matter is that life doesn't necessarily need to have a divine purpose, just as our existence might cease after death. There are numerous theories about potential realities post-mortem, and while they're intriguing to speculate upon, I don't rigidly adhere to any particular one. Such beliefs are rooted in faith, and I find myself gravitating away from doctrines and convictions based solely on faith. Interestingly, even certain facets of science rest on unproven theories and hypotheses. This skepticism extends to my perspective on Scientology. I don't just accept every scientific claim without scrutiny. However, I do hold the belief in a creator, or perhaps multiple creators. Whether they are divine or not remains ambiguous to me. I also acknowledge that our design might not include an afterlife. While I have faith in a superior force, I remain uncertain about its intentions, its form, and its rationale behind creation. Perhaps it's driven by the same curiosity inherent in humans. Consider this. What if our inception was a means for our creators to gain insight into themselves, much like how humans created AI to mirror and understand the human brain? It's merely one hypothesis among countless others. Is there a purpose to our existence? I'm inclined to believe there is. However, it doesn't necessarily have to be divine. It could even be something we perceive as malevolent. While I believe in the concept of a mastermind or several masterminds behind our existence, I'm open to the idea that we might be nothing more than material or energetic beings, subservient to these superior entities. After all, in religious contexts, don't Christians serve God? Many religious practices entail a form of devotion or service. Most spiritual practices demand a kind of tribute or service, often entailing financial contributions or acts of devotion. These payments might be for imparting knowledge or even securing a place in the afterlife. Religions frequently offer the prospects of heaven and hell, while spiritual systems also assure a favorable existence after death. Then there are groups like the Gaianites, Zechariah Sitchinites, Erich von Danikenite, Sumerians, and Chemites, who claim to provide access to hidden or forbidden knowledge, asserting that the Church has concealed this information. Some of these teachings are rooted in racial or cultural backgrounds, Eurocentric views promising an afterlife for Europeans, Afrocentric perspectives assuring an afterlife for Africans, and Asian-centered beliefs offering the same for Asians. As someone who once identified as a Christian, I can confess that I transitioned from embracing the teachings of Jesus to exploring ancient doctrines purported to predate institutions like the Roman Catholic Church and the Council of Nicaea. My journey took me from Jesus to Thoth, from Jesus to Amun-Ra, and from Jesus to figures like Enki and Enlil. My beliefs shifted from angels to the concept of ancient aliens, from winged celestial beings to astronauts in advanced spacecraft. All these are faith-based systems offering knowledge and solutions to age-old existential questions. While I acknowledge that some of these beliefs might hold truth and could potentially be validated in the future, it's evident that in our capitalist society, this knowledge is commercialized, benefiting a select few at the expense of many. In today's capitalist system, the primary goal is to sell information or knowledge. For those looking to profit, the key is to identify and present what they deem valuable and then capitalize on that perceived value. Modern spiritual leaders have evolved from traditional church settings. Instead of pulpits, they have YouTube channels. Rather than solely delivering sermons, they author books, produce documentaries, and appear in interviews. Essentially, they've become traveling preachers and ministers of the digital age, leveraging social media platforms. They amass subscribers, individuals who resonate with their teachings, and followers, some of whom might not critically assess the content, but instead support these leaders unquestioningly, contributing to their success. Ultimately, much of this boils down to financial gain. It's crucial to recognize that some individuals capitalize on the public's quest for answers to profound questions. These so-called revolutionaries, who profess to challenge the system, often benefit from it. In reality, it's a landscape of competition, with smaller capitalists vying against larger ones, all aiming to influence and control the masses. The quest for knowledge and understanding age-old questions has led to a dynamic where some benefit from programming individuals, while others profit from deprogramming or essentially reprogramming them. This landscape turns into a capitalist battleground, reminiscent of a game of Monopoly or even a Game of Thrones. It's a complex game with various players, including kings and queens, and while the outcomes can be numerous, one thing remains consistent. There will always be those who triumph and those who falter. Hierarchies are inevitable, with the top tier depending on the foundation set by those at the bottom, ensuring the stability of the entire capitalistic structure, as the bottom supports the top and keeps the systematic, capitalistic building from collapsing. However, it's essential to clarify that not all participants in this system have malicious intentions. Not everyone in the game is nefarious, and not all who seek or disseminate knowledge do so with ill motives. In this system, though, the balance often tips in favor of a minority, leaving the majority with less favorable outcomes. Shifting focus to the concept of purpose, the real question emerges. When will we attain genuine freedom? The liberty to define and embrace our own purpose intentionally and authentically. The digital age has revolutionized how we seek answers to life's most profound questions. While the platforms have changed, from churches to YouTube channels, the human desire for understanding remains constant. However, as seekers, we must remain vigilant, discerning the genuine from the opportunistic. The essence of our spiritual journey should not be overshadowed by the commercialization of knowledge. As we navigate this modern landscape, let us strive for authentic understanding and, above all, the freedom to define and embrace our own purpose in life.
Chapter 3: Knowledge, Disclosure, and Personal Belief. In our quest for truth, knowledge often becomes a coveted treasure. Some may hold it, some may seek it, and others may attempt to share it. As we navigate the corridors of information, we encounter gatekeepers, whistleblowers, and those who claim to be in the know. But how much of this knowledge is genuine, and how much is mere speculation? This chapter delves into the intricacies of knowledge, the phenomenon of disclosure, and the individual journey of belief in a world filled with mysteries and uncertainties. I firmly believe that some individuals possess knowledge surpassing that of others. It's likely that certain institutions and organizations hold more knowledge than the average person does. I suspect that some ancient knowledge is being closely guarded. The emergence of whistleblowers and similar figures might represent individuals outside these knowledge circles, attempting to use their information as leverage to gain access. Take Dr. Stephen Greer and the disclosure movement, for instance. From my perspective, and I must clarify this is an opinion, not necessarily fact, it appears as though a group of former government agents have united to unveil certain truths. It's possible they've encountered information or witnessed events they weren't initially privy to. Alternatively, these ex-agents might be on a new mission. Even if there's talk about Project Bluebeam, could there be a covert government initiative titled Project Disclosure? It's food for thought. I'm skeptical of blanket statements regarding extraterrestrial beings. I'd challenge anyone claiming that all aliens are either entirely malevolent or benevolent. In fact, I'd critically examine statements from anyone discussing extraterrestrials. Beyond that, I'd scrutinize anyone making claims about topics they cannot empirically validate, regardless of their affiliation with a government body, major organization, or even if they're an ordinary individual like myself. I constantly question motives, reasons, and underlying agendas. Only I can define my life's purpose. Unless a genuine divine entity informs me otherwise, though I'm not anticipating such an event. I'm also not waiting for proclamations from the Catholic Church or any historian on the matter. I choose to lead a simple life, striving to improve the lives of my family and children while preparing for the inevitability of death and the potential end of my existence. Personally, I don't pledge allegiance to any individual, doctrine, or system. I'm not resolutely committed to any specific belief, especially not to ideologies or systems that don't address the overarching threat we all face: capitalism. Dr. Stephen Greer's disclosure movement and the larger debate surrounding extraterrestrial life serve as prime examples of the complexities we face when deciphering truth from fiction. While some assert their experiences and findings with conviction, others approach these topics with skepticism and a discerning eye. As we grapple with these narratives, it's essential to remember the importance of critical thinking, personal discernment, and the acknowledgement of our own biases and beliefs. The vast cosmos of information invites us to explore, question, and form our own conclusions, all while recognizing the influences that shape our perceptions. As we conclude this chapter, it's evident that the pursuit of knowledge is a personal journey, fraught with challenges and revelations. While external forces, institutions, and individuals may offer insights, it remains our responsibility to sift through the information, discerning fact from fiction. In a world where beliefs can be as diverse as the stars in the sky, it's essential to ground ourselves in our own truths, even as we remain open to the vastness of the unknown. The balance between seeking knowledge and maintaining personal conviction is a delicate dance, one that each of us must navigate in our own unique way.
Chapter 4. Gatekeepers of Knowledge and the Duality of Faith. Knowledge, often seen as power, has always been at the center of human evolution and civilization. Its guardians, its seekers, and its consumers play intricate roles in the dance of enlightenment and control. As we dive into this chapter, we will explore the multifaceted nature of knowledge, its keepers, its implications, and the profound effects it can have on individuals and societies at large. Within this context, we will also delve into the dichotomies of faith, observing the vast spectrum of beliefs and the genuine depth of conviction. Speaking on those that possess and withhold, gatekeep knowledge. I don't necessarily oppose the idea of gatekeepers or the withholding of certain knowledge. Conversely, I don't advocate for indiscriminate dissemination of all information to everyone. In my view, not all knowledge should be universally accessible, as knowledge can become a means of control. Whether used for empowerment or suppression, the consequences of knowledge vary based on its application. It can be a tool for domination or liberation, depending on whether it's employed for oppression or enlightenment, and whether it's used for rational purposes or capitalistic gains. Today, there are voices claiming that certain knowledge has been stifled, and their mission is to unveil it. This concealed information has captivated many, implying that their quest for this knowledge has led to a form of possession. If someone becomes dominated by their insatiable curiosity for such forbidden knowledge, they essentially become its captive. This recalls the adage, "Curiosity killed the cat." In life's final moments, from the highest religious figure to the world's wealthiest, and even to the most impoverished individual, the looming question will likely be the same: what comes next? I speculate that the most destitute might find peace in that uncertainty, while the affluent may grapple with profound fear, paralyzed by the unknown. I imagine devout believers might fear death, while those without religious affiliations might embrace it, grateful for the life they've lived. This dichotomy might explain why some seek to create their own paradise on earth, while others, with only superficial faith, attempt to secure their place in the afterlife through material means. True believers, those genuinely committed to their religious or spiritual practices, will likely face death with serenity. However, I suspect they represent a mere fraction, perhaps 1 to 10%, of those who outwardly profess faith. Many might simply align with religious or spiritual systems because it's the societal norm, out of self-interest, or merely when it suits them. In my candid opinion, a significant portion of those identifying as Christians or followers of other spiritual systems might not be as genuine in their convictions as they claim. And while this viewpoint may be construed as a projection, it's rooted in my personal observations. The possession of knowledge, both in the literal and metaphorical sense, has far-reaching consequences. It becomes a mirror reflecting human nature, our insatiable curiosity, and our inherent need for understanding. As we navigate the labyrinth of suppressed information and the allure of the forbidden, we are reminded of the profound impact of beliefs on our perceptions of life, death, and the mysteries that lie beyond. The juxtaposition of genuine faith and superficial allegiance underscores the complexities of human nature and our quest for meaning. In concluding this chapter, it becomes evident that the interplay between knowledge and faith is a dynamic and ever-evolving narrative. While knowledge can be a beacon guiding us towards enlightenment, it can also be a chain binding us to preconceived notions and biases. Similarly, faith, in its purest form, can be a source of solace and strength, but when tainted by societal pressures or personal gains, its essence may be compromised. As we journey through life, the challenge lies in discerning genuine knowledge from misinformation and authentic faith from mere pretense. This discernment, while challenging, paves the way for a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Conclusion. As we conclude our exploration, we're reminded of the complexity and depth of human existence. From the philosophical musings on life and death to the ever-evolving landscape of knowledge in the digital age, our journey has been both enlightening and challenging. We've questioned the intentions behind modern-day spiritual leaders, examined the duality of faith, and sought clarity amid a sea of information. While answers may remain elusive, the quest for understanding is a testament to the human spirit's resilience and curiosity. Life, with its myriad experiences and uncertainties, is a journey in itself. Whether we find solace in faith, seek knowledge, or embrace the unknown, our individual paths are unique, and each step brings us closer to understanding our place in the vast cosmos. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and may your own quest for understanding be filled with insight, reflection, and enlightenment.
Opinions disclaimer. A disclaimer for our past voyage. A special message from the Creator.